Welcome to the part 4 of the basic animation lesson series. For part 4, I'm going to reopen the original download UFO lessons part 1 to 4, the one that's attached to the MS Themes and one on the YouTube description. Okay. The only difference here is that I need to think it starts off like this. So turn on your rendered viewport, and then here we're using a preview right here. Okay, so let's get started. We also need to add the graph editor. So same thing as before. I think I just can add it here or move this up a little bit. I'm going to add it here at the bottom instead. So right click, horizontal split, move that up so that and we can still see our camera here and separate the two. So right here I will want this as my kind of graph editor. Okay, I'm gonna hit tilde right here, go to the front over here. All right, and yeah, let's get started. So for this lesson we're gonna need a new object, and it's quite simple. So we're going to add mesh cylinder. It's going to pop up right there, and we're going to leave it as is regarding the dimension, so we're not going to change anything here. Okay, so what we want to do is position this, however. So I'm going to drag this. Keep in mind these are the numbers for it, so let's move it right here so that it's all kind of maybe -5. Let's put -5. Okay, and then we will scale it along the z-axis until we get maybe 4.5, 4.6. I want it kind of on the ground. Okay, 4.6 right here, scale z, so on the cylinder. Okay, and I know we haven't done a lot of shading yet, but let's give it something that's kind of interesting. We're going to go to the shader tab right here. Okay, and we will click new. We're going to give it an emission. Okay, right here, so it kind of glows. Bring that up, give it like an orange or a yellow, totally up to you. Okay, and we will give it emission strength until you can kind of see it glowing. So let's give it emission strength of 10. Okay, strictly optional. You don't have to do any of the coloring. It's just kind of interesting that it's light up. So we're gonna do something with the UFO right here. All right, so that's our extra object. Remember, this one is -0.5 along the x. We have positioned it like so. And then we have the scale on 4.6 right here. Okay, so we want to kind of zero this out so that the cylinder stays here with 0, 0, 0 values. So as if it was created this way. Okay, in order to do that, so make sure you select the cylinder. Don't move it, just leave it where it's at. Make sure it's selected. Okay, and then go to Object, Apply, all transform to deltas. Okay, we'll click that. As you can see here, everything got zeroed out. 111, even though the height was 4.6, it's this now. All right, so we're gonna leave it here, and we're not going to animate it yet, but that's part of the homework. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to select the UFO controller. And then we will position this a little bit higher. So we'll go about that high right there. So let's go here, give it a number 4 units up. Okay, and then we will move it back here. So this is where it'll start. So we'll give it 5. Okay, so 5 on the X, 4 height on the Z. All right, so that's where we'll start it, and then we want to zero all this out so that we can go back to the original setting, or we can kind of cycle it if we need to. Okay, so we're going to select the gizmo. It's still selected. We'll go to Object, Apply, then we're going to go, oops, sorry, All Transform to Deltas. It gives it 0 value, so we can start right here. So it's 5 and 4. Remember those numbers so that you can kind of follow along. Okay, so I'm going to hit the tilde here, and then we'll go back to the front. All right, so we just want this spaceship to kind of bang on this thing, basically just hit it. Okay, kind of slide and then hit the cylinder right here. So a really simple animation. So we'll start at we're probably going to do 20 frames for that one. So we're going to start at 20 frames. Okay, and we're going to expand this thing by mouse scrolling and then middle click drag. All right, it's the same as navigation. Okay, there you go. We see. So we'll just do 1 to 10. We'll go in there and then we'll bounce off. Okay, and then we'll see what changing the scaling, I mean the spacing will do, or changing the interpolation using the function curve on the graph editor. So let's get started. So this one will be easy enough right here. So we have the UFO controller selected. So along the X, we're just going to go like this and then bounce it off. So at 0 here on frame 1, we're just going to insert single keyframe on X. Okay, and then on frame 10, or maybe 11, we'll go 11. Okay, frame 11, right there. Then we're going to make sure that it's touching the cylinder right there. Okay, so we can go actually here, we can go 0.6, I mean -6. Yeah, we're making sure that it's there's a collision there. Okay, and then on frame 11, okay, we'll keyframe that. So now this one just went like that. Okay, and here we're going to reset that later. So here we're going to go to position our time on frame 20. We just want the UFO to go back to where it was. So the original keyframe right here, which is X. Okay, we're going to Shift D to duplicate, then move the mouse all the way to 20. So basically we just copied the key on 1 and 20, which is X0 right here. So when we play it, it's doing that. All right, and as you can see here, there's not a whole lot of impact going on, right? Because what is the default? Okay, so first I'm going to select all my keys here, press A. Okay, and then over here I'm going to middle click drag and then just kind of expand this like so with the mouse scroll. You can also select all this. If you have the numpad, you can press dot on the numpad and it kind of expands it. Okay, now we can kind of see the motion of that one. All right, doesn't look like there's any impact. That's because the default on Blender, again from the previous lesson, it's a Bezier. Okay, it is a Bezier curve. It's a slow in, slow out. Remember, right here we have in, out, before and after the key, and in, out. So there's no out on 20 because we don't have any animation there. There's no in on 1, right? So the out here is slow, so it's slow motion, and then by the time it hit, it also slows down. When after the hit, it slows in, and then, I mean slows out, and then on its way back to the original position, slow. So we know the slow on 1 and 20 would work. Okay, this part right here where it slows, it's kind of slow at the beginning, okay, to take off and attack it. And then after bouncing off, it slows to come back. But this one is the issue here. So it has to be fast in order to have an impact of hitting it. And then after the hit, it should bounce back. Okay? Right there. Fast. So we need to change this. All right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to select this key on 11. Okay? I'm going to select that. We're going to change the handle type because right now it's in Bezier and they're connected, they're linked. So if I press one of these, when I press G to move this key right here, so there's that seesaw effect. So it's affecting both. So we want to select the middle first and make sure to break that handle. So press V as in victory and then select free. Remember, we were using vector before to get that constant speed. We're going to use free. So what happened then is that we have independent handles. So this is slow. We're going to reverse the look. So we'll make it fast. So I'm going to select that handle, then press G to kind of go like so. And then we'll edit this. We don't know if this is a good look or we want to make it faster. But for now, we're just going to reverse it. And you'll see a dramatic difference in the animation. So when I play it now, as you can see, it's bouncing now. Okay, before it's very floaty. Let me click undo. Okay, so it looks like before it's just swaying left and right. It doesn't feel like it's hitting that. Since we made the look before the impact to go fast. Okay, let's take a look at that one. Okay, and it still looks wrong because the attack going in there is correct, but the bounce off it's still slow. So we'll grab that handle. I'm going to make it faster than the attack here. So this is before the hit. Okay, so I'll kind of slow it down a little bit, and then this is after the hit. So I want it a lot faster. All right, so there's that really bounce in there. Okay, so here, without changing or understanding spacing or interpolation, you're never going to get that look if you just use the default animation of keyframing movement. Okay, all right, so what else can we add here? I think we can add a Y rotation here. So on the impact, it will tilt a little bit. Okay, so let's start on that one. So we know for a fact that we want to start on 1 on the Y axis, no rotation. Frame 1, no rotation on Y with the UFO controller still selected, of course. And then I'm going to right click here, insert single keyframe. And then when we get to frame 11 right here, we will slightly tilt that a little bit. Okay, let's go with 8 degrees. Okay, right click, insert single keyframe, and then you can go here to your function curve, copy Y axis to 20 if you want to, or you can just slide this all the way to 20, reset this back to 0 on rotation Y, and then insert single keyframe. So now it looks like it's leaning and it's attacking it. All right, so this is what you'll be doing in the homework, and then we'll have a video on that in tonight's live meet to explain the homework section of your of basic animation homework 3. Okay.